Thank you, and thank you, AOHR, for inviting me. This is a very important conversation, and I thank Zahar and Zarifa for a very acute and chilling analysis of the abuse and mistreatment of Palestinian prisoners. I think I'm correct in saying that as of June, there were 18 children being held in administrative detention. And just for anybody who's watching, listening, administrative detention is the way Israel practices it, is like unlike anything else in the world. And when you think about some of the viciously repressive regimes in the neighborhood, to say nothing of other regimes, it is a very telling statement of what Zarifa was referring to. And quite rightly, Ben-Gvir is not the originator. He inherits, takes on the mantle. He drives it forward in a way that hasn't perhaps been practiced so blatantly and so openly, but it is there. And I wanted to perhaps spend just a couple of minutes on the issue of ethnic cleansing, and also the idea that it's presented that if you speak about Israel as an apartheid state, which it profoundly is, you stand accused of anti-Semitism. I think we need to stand up and resist that very strongly. I have very good Palestinian friends. I have very good Israeli friends. We need to really pull away from the menace and the threats that this particular Israeli government is inflicting, not just on the Palestinians. Of course, they feel the full burden of it, but on those who stand up and object. So I wanted to make that point. On the question of what's happening in the West Bank, effectively with Ben-Gvir and with Smotrich, you have fascists. They are fascists. Let's call them what they are. They're fascists, and they see their opportunity. And what they see is, and they're using the settlers as the tip of the spear. They want to drive Palestinians out of the West Bank, and they'll begin with Area C. And we're seeing that now. Wadadi, Bedouin shepherds being driven off their land, with the IDF enabling that. They've basically been chased out of their lands, driven off. Something like 60% of the West Bank's territory is under Area C, and Area C is the first target of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. And it's not just an isolated case. I picked up something from Plus 972 magazine, and I'll quote it: "There are almost no Palestinians remaining in a vast area stretching east of Ramallah to the outskirts of Jericho. Most of the communities who lived in the area, which covers around 150,000 dunams or 150 square kilometers of the occupied West Bank, have fled for their lives in recent months as a result of intensifying land seizures backed by the Israeli army and state institutions." And you know what? I wonder if I could just quote David Ben-Gurion, the lion of Israel, the first prime minister. Let me quote something from 1948 that he wrote, and it's this: "I do not see partition as the final solution to the Palestine question. After the formation of a large army in the wake of the establishment of the state, we will abolish partition and expand to the whole of Israel." The point is that Israel, from its inception, has been determined to drive Palestinians off their land. And it has been frighteningly successful with the assistance of Western governments, ours, the American governments most particularly. Hannah Nashrawi spoke about Oslo. She was vehemently opposed to the Oslo deal when it happened. And she said this: areas A, B, and C were an invention that came after the signing of the agreement, and they upset me even more than the declaration of principles. I felt it was ridiculous and absurd. You make the people under occupation responsible for the security of the occupier? Really? Anyone with any sense would not accept that at all. Instead of devolution of the occupation and evolution of a state, we got the opposite: evolution of the occupation and devolution of a state. The thing about this whole situation, and what is, I think, particularly disheartening, if I can put it that way, is Joe Biden is working as hard as he possibly can to get the Saudis to recognize Israel, to get the Saudis. And of course, the Saudis under Abdullah and the Saudi peace plan, which called for a two-state solution. And believe me, Mohammed bin Salman would be delighted to jump in there because he's already resentful that the Emiratis are in there, first of all. So there you have an American president being prepared to bring in the Saudis, and this will benefit Netanyahu hugely if it happens. I hope it doesn't. I hope that Mohammed bin Salman realizes that he can wait it out because he's going to be a big winner as well in this. He's got plenty of time. But the Palestinians have been abandoned. And let me say one more thing. The Palestinian Authority have abandoned their people as well. The Palestinian Authority has been responsible for some terrible atrocities that they've inflicted upon their own people. Mahmoud Abbas has been in place since 2005. My Palestinian friends view the PA and Abbas with contempt. They've done nothing but be collaborators with the Israelis in the occupation. I think that, you know, there needs to be, the court of global opinion is starting to turn. This kind of venue is very important. Social media is very important. Getting out the pictures of this daily abuse of Palestinians. And also I think that, you know, there must be, and I know there are in Israel, people who the light has come on. They realize that the struggle of the Palestinians and their struggle to save their democracy are actually in the same ball field. Now, there are not enough of them yet, but I think those people need to be supported as well. And I think that, you know, this particular vicious government, the most extreme, this fascist government that Netanyahu has cobbled together to save his ass, pardon my French, is going to go so far that it will eventually devour itself. That is my hope. Thank you.